Jay-Z is done for. 50 Cent just dropped a bomb that's got the entire internet spinning, and it's not just beef anymore. This is about power, control, decades of secrets, and the receipts, they're stacking up fast. Everybody thought they knew the Jay-Z and 50 Cent rivalry. Two titans, different lanes, occasional shots fired through lyrics and interviews. That was the surface. But what 50's been building, it's not a diss track. It's a documentary, a full-blown investigation into Jay-Z's rise, his methods, and the bodies, careers, reputations, artists left behind. And now, the whole narrative is twisting, because this isn't about who's richer or who sold more albums. This is about who controlled the game and who got crushed in the process. 50 Cent is positioning himself as the whistleblower, the one willing to say what everyone else stayed quiet about. Let me break this down. 50 Cent recently went on record, interviews, social media posts, teases for an upcoming documentary, laying out a pattern, not rumors, not hearsay, a timeline of alleged manipulation, suppression, and strategic takedowns orchestrated by Jay-Z and his inner circle. First piece of evidence, Nicki Minaj's accusations. According to reports circulating online, Nicki claims Jay-Z pocketed nearly $8 million in royalties owed to her when she helped build Tidal from the ground up back in 2015. She was one of the artists who gave the platform legitimacy, credibility, star power, and allegedly, she never saw that money. 50 Cent retweeted her video, amplified it, put his cosign behind it. That's not just petty beef. That's a public accusation of financial misconduct from one of the biggest names in hip-hop. Then there's Lil Wayne and the Super Bowl. Wayne, a New Orleans legend, was the obvious choice for the halftime show when it came to his city. Fans expected it, the culture expected it. But Jay-Z, who's been consulting with the NFL on entertainment decisions, allegedly pushed him out. Personal grudges, people say, old tension, and Wayne got sidelined while Kendrick Lamar got the slot. Now, Kendrick's talented, nobody's disputing that, but the optics, they look messy, especially when you consider Jay's history of consolidating power and controlling narratives. 50 Cent didn't just mention this in passing, he framed it as part of a larger pattern: suppress the competition, elevate the allies, maintain control. And it gets even crazier. Fans online turned into full-blown investigators after 50 posted a side-by-side image, Jay-Z and Diddy, together at events, parties, industry functions for years. People started pulling up old footage, interviews, red carpet appearances. The two were tight. Publicly, privately, business partners in certain ventures. So when Diddy's legal troubles exploded in 2024, allegations of misconduct, abuse, trafficking, the internet immediately asked, what did Jay-Z know? 50 Cent leaned into that question hard. He posted clips, memes, commentary, all pointing to one idea: proximity equals complicity. If you were that close to someone for that long, you don't get to claim ignorance when the truth comes out. TMZ picked it up, social media amplified it, and suddenly Jay-Z's carefully crafted image, the businessman, the mogul, the family man, started looking a lot more fragile. But 50 didn't stop there. He brought up the 1999 assault case, the stabbing incident that led to Jay-Z serving time. He mentioned the elevator footage with Solange, where Jay got physically confronted by Beyoncé's sister. He dug into old copyright disputes, contract battles, artists who claimed they got screwed over by Roc Nation. And he framed it all as a pattern, not isolated incidents, not misunderstandings, a deliberate strategy of consolidation, suppression, and control. Online detectives took this to another level. They started studying body language in old interviews, comparing Jay's responses when asked about other artists, analyzing his business moves, who got signed, who got dropped, who got paid, who didn't. And folks online swear they're seeing the same playbook over and over again. Align with power, eliminate threats, rewrite history. 50 Cent positioned himself as the narrator of that story, the one willing to connect the dots publicly while everyone else stayed silent out of fear or self-interest. Now let's get into the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking into place. 50 Cent and Jay-Z, They've never been friends, but this isn't just about personal beef. This is about philosophy, about how you build an empire and what you're willing to do to protect it. 50 Cent built his career on confrontation, transparency, calling people out. From Ja Rule to The Game to Rick Ross, he's never been afraid to go to war publicly. That's his brand: disruption, exposure. Jay-Z, he built his empire on the opposite: discretion, alliances, moving in silence, controlling narratives through influence rather than volume. Two completely different approaches to power. And for years, they coexisted. Different lanes, occasional tension, but nothing explosive. So what changed? Think about it. 50 Cent has been teasing this documentary for months. He's calling it a follow-up to the Diddy exposé. And if you watched that film, you know 50 didn't hold back. He laid out allegations, testimonies, timelines. He positioned himself as the truth teller in an industry built on secrets. And Jay-Z? He's been named, referenced, implicated, not directly, but through association, through proximity, through silence. That kind of pressure builds, because here's the thing: Jay-Z's entire brand is built on control. Control of his image, control of his narrative, control of his legacy. And 50 Cent is threatening all of that. But there's more to the story. Let's go back, way back. In the early 2000s, both men were rising. 50 exploded onto the scene with Get Rich or Die Tryin', one of the biggest debut albums in hip-hop history. Jay-Z was already established, but 50's success shifted the power dynamic. Suddenly, there was a new king in New York, a new voice, a new energy. And Jay? He adapted, he pivoted, he became the businessman, the mogul, the guy who transcended rap. But along the way, people got left behind. Dame Dash, Jay's former partner, got pushed out of Rocket Seller Records. He's been vocal about feeling betrayed, used, discarded once he was no longer useful. Beanie Sigel, Cameron, Freeway, artists who helped build Rockefeller, have all spoken about feeling undervalued, underpaid, blocked from reaching their full potential. And then there's the bigger picture. Multiple sources, including industry insiders who've gone on record, claim that Jay-Z and Diddy were given a specific role in the early 2000s: suppress East Coast rap. Why? Because Southern artists were cheaper. They were signing deals for $200,000, $300,000 and bringing back platinum albums. Meanwhile, New York artists were commanding 7 figures up front. From a business perspective, it made sense for labels to shift focus. But it also meant New York's dominance, the birthplace of hip-hop, started fading. And according to these accounts, Jay-Z and Diddy were the gatekeepers. They controlled who got signed, who got radio play, who got pushed. Dame Dash mentioned this in interviews. He said Jay wouldn't sign off on certain artists, wouldn't give them the cosign they needed to break through. 50 Cent has echoed similar sentiments. He's talked about how difficult it was to get a deal in New York, how he had to go to Dr. Dre and Eminem, West Coast and Detroit, to get the platform he deserved. That's not coincidence. That's structure. And now 50's pulling back the curtain. He's saying this wasn't just business. This was sabotage. This was control. This was making sure nobody could challenge the throne. Put all that together, and it looks like the perfect recipe for a reckoning. Because Jay-Z's empire, it's built on alliances, partnerships, mutual silence. But if one person breaks that silence, if one person starts naming names, showing receipts, connecting dots, the whole thing could collapse. And 50 Cent, he's got nothing to lose. He's already rich, already successful, already outside the traditional industry structure. He's not looking for a record deal. He's not trying to get back in anyone's good graces. He's just telling the story, and that makes him dangerous. But here's the part that really hits different. This isn't just about Jay-Z and 50 Cent. This isn't just about industry politics or financial disputes. This is about the artists who got caught in the middle, the ones who trusted the system, who believed in the dream, who thought if they worked hard enough, talented enough, loyal enough, they'd get their shot. And they didn't. Nicki Minaj, one of the biggest female rappers of all time, allegedly helped build Tidal and never got paid. That's somebody's career, somebody's work, somebody's value dismissed. Lil Wayne, a legend in his own right, got pushed out of a moment that should have been his. That's not just business, that's personal, that's disrespect. And then there are the artists who never even got a chance, the ones who got blocked, suppressed, told not yet, or not the right time, or not the right fit. How many careers were stunted because they didn't align with the gatekeepers? How many voices were silenced because they threatened the established order? That's the real tragedy here. Because hip-hop was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be the culture where talent mattered more than connections, where the streets could elevate you, where authenticity was currency. But somewhere along the way, it became just like every other industry. Controlled, consolidated, corrupted. And the people at the top, they rewrote the rules to benefit themselves. 50 Cent is framing this as a fight for those artists, the ones who got left behind, the ones who got used, the ones who deserved better. And that's why this story resonates, because it's not just gossip, it's not just drama, it's a reckoning. Now, this whole situation gets even crazier when you realize how deep the connections run. Let's talk about Beyoncé for a second, because Jay-Z's marriage to Beyoncé isn't just a personal relationship, it's a brand, a business empire, a cultural institution. And according to some accounts, that union changed everything for Jay. Before Beyoncé, Jay was seen as a street rapper who made it big. Talented, yes, successful, absolutely, but still urban, still niche. After Beyoncé, he became black excellence, high society, untouchable. The Grammys started rolling in, the corporate partnerships, the invitations to the White House. He went from hip-hop mogul to global icon, and that shift, it insulated him, protected him, made him harder to criticize without facing backlash. 50 Cent has pointed this out multiple times. He's joked about it, mocked it, but there's truth underneath the humor. Because when you're part of a power couple like Jay and Bey, you're not just a person anymore, you're a symbol, and attacking the symbol feels like attacking something bigger. That's strategic. Whether intentional or not, it's effective. But it also means that when cracks start showing, when allegations start surfacing, the fall is that much harder. And right now, the cracks are showing. Let's talk about the Diddy connection again, because this isn't just guilt by association, there's actual legal implications here. In 2024, a lawsuit was filed naming both Jay-Z and Diddy in connection with allegations of misconduct involving a minor. The case claims the incident happened back in the early 2000s. Jay-Z's legal team immediately issued a statement, denied everything, called it a shakedown, threatened countersuits. But the thing is, the case is moving forward. Discovery is happening, documents are being reviewed, and 50 Cent, he's been posting about it, not making accusations directly, he's too smart for that, but asking questions, raising eyebrows, pointing out inconsistencies in Jay's public statements versus his private actions. And the internet is eating it up, because people love a fall of grace, especially when the person falling spent years positioning themselves as untouchable. Meanwhile, fans online have been working like full-blown investigators. They're pulling up old interviews where Jay-Z defended Diddy, where he downplayed allegations, where he called accusers liars or opportunists. And now that Diddy's facing serious legal consequences, those old statements look bad. Really bad. It's not proof of wrongdoing, but it's proof of poor judgment, proof of loyalty to the wrong people, proof that maybe, just maybe, the image doesn't match the reality. And in the court of public opinion, that's enough. Let's also talk about the business side. Jay-Z's Roc Nation has been incredibly successful. They manage some of the biggest artists in the world. They've brokered deals with the NFL, with streaming platforms, with major brands. But success like that doesn't come without making enemies. There are artists who've left Roc Nation and spoken about feeling trapped. Contracts that favored the label, promises that didn't materialize, opportunities that went to others. Rita Ora, Rihanna, though she's remained publicly supportive, younger artists who signed thinking they'd get the Jay-Z cosign and instead got buried under bureaucracy. 50 Cent has hinted at this too. He's talked about how these big management companies operate, how they sign talent, lock them into long-term deals, and then prioritize whoever's hot at the moment. It's not illegal, but it's not ethical either. And when you combine that with the other allegations, financial misconduct, suppression of competition, proximity to problematic figures, it starts painting a picture of someone who prioritized power over people, control over community, legacy over loyalty. And that's the story 50 Cent is telling. What we're seeing here is bigger than just Jay-Z and 50 Cent. This is about how power operates in the entertainment industry, how it's accumulated, how it's protected, how it's maintained. For decades, hip-hop has been controlled by a small group of people, label executives, managers, a few powerful artists who became gatekeepers. And that system worked for them. But for everyone else, it created barriers, limited opportunities, forced artists to compromise their vision, their values, their authenticity just to get a shot. 50 Cent is exposing that system. He's showing how alliances form, how favors get traded, how silence gets bought. And he's doing it publicly, loudly, unapologetically. That's dangerous for people like Jay-Z, because the whole system relies on discretion, on everyone playing their role, on nobody breaking the code. But 50, he never signed that agreement. He built his career outside the traditional structure. He made his money in television, in liquor, in investments that had nothing to do with music. So he doesn't need the industry's approval. He doesn't need access to the same rooms. He doesn't need to protect the same relationships. He's free to tell the truth, or at least his version of it. And that freedom is terrifying to people who've spent decades building empires on controlled narratives. The bigger conversation here is about accountability. For too long, powerful figures in entertainment have operated with impunity. They've been able to suppress stories, pay off accusers, use legal threats to silence critics. But the internet changed that. Social media gave everyone a platform, gave victims a voice, gave investigators the tools to connect dots that used to stay hidden. And now, the old guard is scrambling because you can't control the narrative anymore. You can't eye silence from everyone. You can't threaten your way out of accountability. 50 Cent understands this. He's using the tools of the new era, social media, documentaries, viral content, to challenge the power structures of the old era. And it's working because people are paying attention. They're asking questions. They're demanding answers. Jay-Z's situation is a warning for anybody in a position of power. The more you accumulate, the more you have to protect. The more you protect, the more secrets you keep. The more secrets you keep, the more vulnerable you become when someone decides to talk. And right now, someone's talking. So where does this go from here? That's the question everyone's asking. Because right now, this is still speculation, allegations, accusations without convictions. But the momentum is building. 50 Cent has promised more footage, more documents, more witnesses. He's framing this as just the beginning, the opening chapter of a much longer story. And if he delivers, if he actually has the receipts he's been teasing, Jay-Z's empire could crumble. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, steadily, as sponsors distance themselves, as business partners reconsider, as public perception shifts. Because in the modern era, reputation is everything. You can survive legal battles, you can survive financial losses, but you can't survive being canceled by the culture. And hip-hop culture, it doesn't forgive easily, especially when you're accused of betraying the very people who built you up. There's also the legal angle. If the allegations involving minors gain traction, if more accusers come forward, if evidence surfaces that can't be dismissed, we're talking about criminal charges, not just civil suits, actual prison time. That's the worst-case scenario, and right now it feels distant, unlikely. But so did Diddy's arrest a year ago. So did R. Kelly's conviction. So did Harvey Weinstein's downfall. These things don't happen until they do, and when they do, they happen fast. 50 Cent is positioning himself as the person who saw it coming, who tried to warn people, who refused to stay silent. Whether that's genuine or opportunistic, that's up for debate. But the impact is real. Because every post, every interview, every documentary teaser chips away at Jay-Z's carefully constructed image. And once that image cracks, it's almost impossible to repair. Stay locked in, because this story is about to get even crazier. More details dropping, more clues surfacing. Reports say 50 Cent's documentary could be released within the next few months, and if it's anything like the Diddy exposé, it's going to break the internet. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Jay-Z is guilty of what he's being accused of? Or is this just 50 Cent stirring the pot for attention? And do you think the industry will actually hold powerful figures accountable? Or will this blow over like everything else? Make sure you like the video, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update, because we're covering every twist that comes out. I appreciate you for rocking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, and remember, in this game, loyalty is expensive, silence is currency, and the truth, it always finds a way out.